I've been noticing for years that the Trump cult is absolutely obsessed with Barack Obama. So I decided to do some research to try and find out why the MAGA cult is so obsessed with Obama. Barack Obama has not been president for 10 years, and MAGA can't stop talking about him. They're literally obsessed with the man. They try and blame him for things that are happening today. That's not random. There's a psychological reason for that, although it seems a little creepy. Here are the 4 reasons the Trump cult is obsessed with President Obama. 1. The psychological wage of whiteness. In 1935, sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois at Atlanta University studied poor white Americans. White Americans, even the poor ones, with no money and no power, felt superior to black Americans. Not because they earned it, but because for 250 years the entire system told them they were superior to black people. The law said it, the church said it, the culture said it. Du Bois called it the psychological wage of whiteness. This is a status payment people collect just for being white, a floor that white people couldn't fall beneath. Then Barack Obama became president. He occupied the highest status role in the country. That destroyed the floor. And when a status floor breaks, people don't quietly adjust. They backlash. Obama didn't just win an election. He took something they didn't even know they were depending on. They didn't earn this special status, but they thought it was stolen when Barack Obama got elected. And they've been trying to take it back ever since. 2. Social identity threat. Psychologist Henry Teifel at the University of Bristol spent decades studying in-group conflict. What he found was when a member of an outgroup outperforms the in-group, the psychological response is not one of admiration, but hostility. Teifel called this social identity threat. A failed black president would have confirmed the Trump cult's worldview, but Obama being polished, competent, scandal-free, and widely respected by world leaders made it impossible to call him incompetent. The better Obama performed, the more threatening he became to the cult. Not because of his policies, but because his success directly contradicted everything they believe about the natural order of things. He wasn't supposed to be better. He wasn't supposed to be a gentleman and a scholar, and yet he was. That doesn't just go away. When weak, mediocre people see someone they believe was inferior reach the highest office in the country, they don't get inspired. They become filled with rage. They feel lied to, and they need someone to blame for the hate and rage. That target is Obama. Everything they could never be. 3. Scapegoating. Obama left office in 2017, but his name never left the conversation, because Trump spent more than a decade smearing his name. It all started before Trump was even president. Trump spent years pushing the birther conspiracy, claiming Obama wasn't American, wasn't legitimate, wasn't one of us. That wasn't politics. That was a deliberate effort to strip Obama of his humanity and plant him in the minds of millions as the source of everything wrong. Then when Trump took office, the playbook continued. Every problem needed an explanation. Economy struggling? Obama's fault. Crime rate rising? Obama's fault. Anything going wrong in the country? Obama's fault. Psychologists call this scapegoating. Assign one figure as the source of all your problems and anxiety, which then collapses onto that single target. It feels like clarity to his followers. It feels like understanding. It isn't. Trump didn't just keep Obama's name alive. He spent over a decade turning him into the villain of the story. And to the Trump cult members, this story still is true. 4. Cognitive dissonance. Here's what made the obsession permanent. The MAGA cult couldn't call Obama corrupt. There were no scandals. They couldn't call him incompetent. The record didn't support it. They couldn't even call him unpresidential. He was polished, disciplined, and respected around the world. Psychologist Leon Festinger at Stanford University studied what happens when people are confronted with evidence that contradicts their deeply held beliefs. Weak people don't update their beliefs when confronted with contradicting evidence. They double down on their original beliefs. Festinger called this cognitive dissonance. MAGA was left holding a belief system that Obama's entire existence disproved. And instead of resolving that contradiction by updating their worldview, they resolved it by hating him harder. The obsession isn't just political, it's psychological. And it has nowhere left to go, so it goes out onto everyone else in rage and obsession. Obama is living proof that the psychological wage of whiteness doesn't exist anymore. And to weak people who never earned that status in the first place, it feels like an identity crisis. So they obsess more, say his name more, talk about him obsessively all the time. They even have a name for this now, Obama derangement syndrome. Because Obama didn't just win the presidency. He broke a hierarchy millions of people thought was permanent. And they've been trying to undo that moment ever since.
When Obama got it, here are the headlines. President Obama gets the Nobel Prize. Obama got it, like in his first couple of weeks, and nobody knew why he got it, including him. Remember, he couldn't tell you why. He won the Nobel Peace. Well, do you know this? Can you believe it? He won the Nobel Peace Prize. They probably will never give it to me, even what I'm doing in Korea and Idlib province and all of these places. They probably will never give it to me. You know why? Because they don't want to. I think I'm going to get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things because they gave it out fairly, which they don't.
For years, one name has never left Donald Trump's mouth: Barack Obama. Not during campaigns, not during his presidency, not even after leaving office. But here is the real question. Is this about politics or something much deeper? Please relax and take your coffee as we break it down.
Let's be real, y'all. Trump's obsession with Barack Obama has never, ever been about politics. It's always been about hate. Raw, unfiltered, white supremacist hate. Because Obama represents everything, and I do mean everything, that Trump thinks only white men are entitled to be. Brilliant, articulate, highly educated, globally respected, scandal-free, and loved. And let's not forget, Obama has a Nobel Peace Prize. Trump couldn't even buy one, and y'all know he's probably tried. That kind of global honor, it's the stuff Trump dreams of, but will never, ever earn. And that kills him. It's rotting him from the inside out. You see it. The bruised hands, the bloated legs and ankles, that pale, blotchy skin. No matter how loud he yells, how many lies he spins, how many witch hunt tantrums he throws, he knows he'll never be what Barack Obama is, a damn good man. Obama didn't have to cheat. He didn't have to rage tweet. He did not have to even incite riots. He led with grace, with dignity, with intellect. That is what eats Trump alive every single day. Not policy, not partisanship, but Obama's very existence. This isn't about legacy. It's about resentment. Because deep down, Trump knows history will honor Obama with statues, streets, and building names. And in textbooks. And Trump, he'll be remembered as a twice impeached, 4 times indicted, disgraced president. A cautionary tale, a bitter footnote, rotting in the shadow of a black man's legacy. That's the truth, y'all. And it's not just eating him alive, it's swallowing him whole.
I think I finally understand why Donald Trump hates Barack Obama and Michelle Obama so much, and it really has nothing to do with that White House Correspondents' Dinner years ago. It's that America still loves, the world still loves Barack and Michelle Obama. See, last night was an NBA All-Star game, and, well, the Obamas were there. The camera panned to them, and the crowd cheered. Everybody stood up. They got a standing ovation to the point that President Obama stood up and waved at the crowd, which led to more cheering. Meanwhile, Donnie Boy Trump shows up at sporting events and half to 3/4 of the crowd boos, to the point that the same media networks have to put clapping and cheering tracks over it to keep his supporters from attempting to boycott them. So, Donald Trump really hates the Obamas because the world still loves them, as the world has always despised him.
Donald Trump wants what Obama has in terms of this cultural cachet. When he goes to the games like the NFL games, everywhere except the UFC, he is in a box because he can't be on the floor like that. I'm wondering your take on, as somebody that was in the room, who saw it live, just a juxtaposition between these two presidents.
Well, the few times I've been able to meet Obama, it was when he was still in office, and it was very clear that Obama is like a real sports fan and a very big basketball fan. And his stress relief was actually watching sports. Like, he didn't watch, I'm sure he was kept abreast about what was happening on CNN and MSNBC and a lot of the other news stations, but his downtime a lot was spent watching ESPN, which, was how he knew who I was. And I was floored by this. Like, you know who I
Ma'am,
am.
you're
This
very
is crazy.
famous.
Please, Jamila,
Okay.
please. Everybody knows who you are. You gotta stop with this.
Still, there's a certain level of fame you think you have, and then when the president of the United States is like, yeah, I know who you are, that's a different level, okay? And so he's always had this love affair with basketball, and he has a very good relationship with a lot of NBA players, LeBron, Steph Curry. And a few years ago, when the players did a work stoppage after Jacob Blake was shot, Obama was one of the people they consulted and talked to about how they should proceed, because many of them didn't want to finish the season. They wanted to make a big statement, and he was one of the consigliaries that was in their ear. I've said this before when it comes to MAGA and even to Donald Trump. A lot of people in MAGA, a lot of his administration, part of the reason they're so angry is because they're just not cool. And they're not cool, and they're not accepted in certain places where cool people are. Donald Trump is not someone who strikes me very much as a people person. Yes, he has friends, but Obama and Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, like, you want to hang out with them. You want to, like, dang, I want to grab a beer with Barack. I want to go kick it with Barack. Like, he has that kind of energy, and Donald Trump doesn't have that energy. And so Barack Obama could have very easily have been in a suite, but that would have been inauthentic to who he is, because he truly is a man of the people. And the reception that they both get wherever they go, the warmth, the love, it doesn't matter if they're in the United States or if they're abroad or even if they're in conservative circles. There is a level of respect that people have for them that drives Donald Trump absolutely crazy, because they're cool, they're hip, they're welcome every place, from the NBA All-Star Game to the Academy Awards. It doesn't matter. And part of Donald Trump's present anger is the fact he's not welcome there. People, they don't think he's cool, and they don't think MAGA's cool. Like, that's why they can only get people like Kid Rock to perform and a washed-up Nicki Minaj. That's why, because nobody thinks they're...
When you listen closely, the frustration of Donald Trump on Barack Obama doesn't follow the normal rules of political rival. This isn't Bush versus Clinton. This isn't Democrats versus Republicans. Because ever long after Obama left office, Trump keep bringing him up, blaming him, comparing himself to him, trying to diminish him. That's not tragedy. That's obsession. To understand this, we have to go deeper into history. For over 250 years, Americans built a system where whiteness came with an invisible reward, a sense of status, a sense of superiority, not earned, but given. The law reinforces it, the culture protects it, even religion justifies it. And for many, that became identity. Then, something happened that shook that foundation. Barack Obama became president. Obama did just win an election. He represented everything many believe only white men were entitled to. Brilliant, articulate, highly educated, globally respected, scandal-free. And that creates a contradiction, because if Obama could rise to the highest office and excel, then the whole belief system collapsed. And when deeply held, beliefs collapse. People respond in two ways. Some grow, others resist. Here is what becomes psychological. When someone believes they are naturally superior and reality proves otherwise, it does not inspire them, it threatens them. Because it feels like something was taken, something they didn't even realize they depend on. So instead of updating beliefs, they double down and they look for someone to blame. For Donald Trump, that person became Barack Obama. Here is the dynamic. Trump can't call Obama corrupt. There is no major scandal. He can't call him incompetent. The record didn't support it. He can't call him unpresidential. He was disciplined and respected globally. Even more, Obama holds a Nobel Peace Prize, one of the highest global honors. A level of recognition Trump has chased but never reached. And deep down, Trump knows something else. History will remember Obama with status, street names, textbooks. So the question becomes, what will Trump be remembered for? This isn't just political rival. This is something deeper. Because Obama represents proof that the so-called natural order was never natural at all. That the psychological wage of whiteness is fading. And for some, that's a reality too uncomfortable to accept. So the next time you hear Donald Trump mention Barack Obama, ask yourself, is this about politics or is this about something much deeper? Identity, power, and a worldview being challenged. This video includes clips used under fair use. Credit to original stitches and creator features in this documentary. If you find this insightful, like this video, share your thoughts, and subscribe to Truth Reddit for more deep and undiluted analysis. Do you think Trump focus on Obama is political or psychological? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. To everyone watching, thanks for being part of the community that value truth, critical thinking, and honest conversation. Stay informed, stay curious, and always question the narrative. See you in the next episode of Truth Verdict. Bye.